Allie Glines says this is the last drugstore makeup we're ever gonna need. Allie Glines has a channel here on YouTube and about 750,000 subscribers. She is in her late 20s and these are her holy grail drugstore products. I am no longer in my late 20s. In fact, I am 53 and I'm curious to see if this stuff works on mature skin. Welcome to Kris Over 50. The first item on Allie's list is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Instant Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. I have watched so many videos here on the YouTubes saying that this is an excellent drugstore dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I own that product. I've owned it for a few years and I don't find myself reaching for it. In fact, I usually forget that I own it. I am using it today as my primer and we'll see how it goes. For foundation, it's the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Freshwear 24-Hour Liquid Foundation. I own this foundation. I have 3 bottles of this foundation. I have it in a summer shade and a winter shade. And I was really surprised when I went looking through my channel content because I would have sworn up and down that I had done a video on it, and I have not. So we're going to get a one-day wear test out of it today. I will say, however, that this is a fabulous foundation. I really enjoy it, but it's been a while since I've used it, so I'm curious to see if my opinion changes. This foundation gives really good coverage and one pump is actually more than enough to do my face. You can apply it with fingers, with sponge, with brush. Here I'm using my fingers and then going over with the sponge and building up a little more coverage on my nose and cheeks.
But for concealer, I chose the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum.
I have sort of a love-hate relationship with concealer. It is not something I use in my everyday makeup. I have yet to find either a concealer or a technique that doesn't settle into wrinkles. Casually, I have tried both Angie Hot and Flashy's and Wayne Goth's method for concealer application. They don't seem to work for me. I really need to do a video on that. So I'm curious to see how this product wears, if it shows some promise for maybe being one that I could get to work with my under eye wrinkles. I'm going to go ahead and set my foundation with the number 7 Perfect Light Loose Powder in the shade Translucent. I own this in the pressed format, but not the loose powder. I'm trying very hard just to pick up a little bit on my brush and then really work it in my face because I don't want it to be too drying. Allie says the last brow products we'll ever need from the drugstore are both from Milani, the Precision Brow Pencil and the Clear Brow Gel. My local Target only had the brow pencil in 3 shades, although I see on the Milani website that it actually comes in 7. I picked up the shade Medium Brown. What I like is it has a very fine point. So if you like to draw in sort of individual hairs, mimic that look, you can certainly do it with this. Or if you prefer just to sort of generally shade to fill in, you can also do it. Plus, it's got a spoolie. She likes the Clear Brow Gel because she says it holds the brows without getting crunchy. Clear Brow Gel is not a product I use a lot in kind of my everyday life. I do use it on days that I shoot or when I'm going out. I usually have really good luck with the e.l.f. product, so I am curious to try the Milani Clear Brow Gel. Her Holy Grail eyeshadow palette is from Colourpop. It is the That's Taupe palette. This is a 9-pan palette. It is very cool toned and it actually looks like a really pretty color story. You can definitely do an all matte look, really crank it up with shimmers, do day, do evening, do dramatic. This looks like a very versatile palette, so I'm curious to get into it. Allie did not call out an eyeliner, so I am going to the CoverGirl Exhibitionist 24-hour eyeliner. That was one in Dominique's video, and I have to say, I love it. That is the eyeliner I reach for now, 9 days out of 10. I've picked it up in a few more shades. I really wish they would come out with more shades. This is an amazing eyeliner. It goes in the waterline so easily, lays down a great line, and does not transfer to my contacts. Now we have Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder. This comes in 3 shades. The lightest shade, the 01 Sunlight, seemed a little too light to me. It reminded me a lot of my Hoola bronzer that I use in the winter time. 02 Sunkissed was a bit darker but also really cool, and I ended up going with 03 Suntan. For me, this will be a good summer shade. It reminded me a lot of the Marc Jacobs product. Because Allie did not call out any contours, I am also going to contour my cheeks with it.
For blush, I chose the Flower Beauty Flower Pots blushes.
The Flower Beauty Flower Pots powder blush comes in so many great shades. It was really hard for me just to pick up Sweet Pea. To my eye, it looked a lot like the Milani blush, but I will say, putting it on, it is unlike any light pink I own, and I was really pleasantly surprised by that. The Essence Pure Nude highlighter is another one that I had in my stash. Although I didn't have the light color, shade 10, I actually had shade 40, so I was happy to pick up the lighter shade. I agree that this is a really fantastic highlighter, that it just is a nice glow. It's not too stark, it's not super glittery. It just gives the skin a nice highlight. If you're enjoying this video, would you consider showing me a little YouTube love by subscribing and ringing that bell?
The Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist.
Colourpop actually makes at least 2 setting sprays. It took a little bit of label reading and whatnot to figure out which one she was talking about for the hydrating setting mist. It was this one labeled Pretty Fresh. The spray was a fine mist. Not the finest, but also no big droplets came out of it. It was an easy application. Clearly I am talking to camera here, but because I am a YouTube professional, I had forgotten to turn on my microphone. Allie calls out the NYX Professional Makeup Slim Lip Pencil in the shade Nude Beige. She actually held up a huge handful that she has of these lip pencils, and not surprisingly, it is the same one that Dominique called out. Allie's go-to drugstore lipsticks are Maybelline Color Sensational in 2 shades in particular she called out, Truffle Tease and Rosy Risk. I will admit I had to drive a few different places to find those shades. I am remembering now using this lipstick how good this lipstick is. It goes on nicely, it feels very comfortable on, it's moisturizing, but it also wears well, especially for a cream lipstick. I have never used the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara, so I was looking forward to trying that. I do really like a lot of the Maybelline mascaras. The brush was not my favorite. I don't mind a curved brush. It felt like this one was awfully short, and it did make it a little bit hard for me to put mascara on, but I think the final look was great. This is wonderful mascara. It's a little thickening. It gave a little curl to my lashes. It didn't clump. It went on quite nicely. And for finishing powder, she says the Rimmel Stay Matte is the last drugstore finishing powder you're ever going to need. I picked it up in the translucent shade. Now the only other thing that she had was a lip gloss from Essence, the Clear Gloss. I own that gloss. It is everything she said it was. It was beautiful shine, long-lasting shine without being goopy or sticky, just a really high-quality gloss at an amazing price. I have looked everywhere. I cannot find mine. I think this is such a pretty makeup look. Let's see how it wears. This is actually a 9-hour check-in on this makeup, and I have to say overall I am really happy and impressed. I have owned this L'Oreal Infallible foundation for several years, and it has been probably over a year since I pulled it out of my stash and wore it, and I have forgotten how good of a foundation it is. It is not worn off. It has mildly settled into this wrinkle, but I will say that at around the 4-hour mark, it had still not settled into this line, and that's pretty impressive. I am absolutely loving this Colourpop palette. This is not my first Colourpop palette, but it has been a very long time since I've purchased one. I think mostly because I feel like they're coming out with something every week and it just gets too overwhelming. Like I just cannot keep up with all of that. But this is a really gorgeous color story. I will definitely be wearing this and playing with it for the next few days. I will say there was no eyeshadow primer on Allie's list, and so to wear eyeshadow for 9 hours now and still have it looking great with no primer underneath, that speaks volumes for the quality that you get from Colourpop. I really liked this Flower Beauty, this Sweet Pea blush. I thought it was so subtle and soft and gorgeous. While I have several other pink blushes, and in fact this reminds me a lot of the Milani blush, it is not quite the light, gentle shade that this is. So this was a really fun discovery. For the first couple hours, the number 7 powder felt a little drying, but as the day wore on, it got better. I think the Rimmel Stay Matte, I'm gonna try this out as a finishing powder. Like I said, I don't really have an oily T-zone anymore, and sometimes I get shiny during the day and sometimes I don't. So I'm curious to put this in my routine and see how it works out. I thought the NYX Serum Concealer worked really well, and here, this is another product that I'm really anxious to use over the next few days and weeks to see how it performs. Maybelline lipsticks are amazing. I swapped out my lipstick for the Risky Rose shade to film this, and it's a really pretty, slightly pinker nude. This Milani Silky Matte Bronzer, wow. From using it today, I would say it is a really good dupe for the Marc Jacobs, which of course we can't get anymore. So I am really happy to have come across this. I think the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist did a nice job. Again, this is one that I want to keep using, try it with some other powders and foundations, really test it out and see how it works. If you're enjoying this video, you might also like this video that I did on the Maybelline lipsticks, the For Me series when it launched. It's right up here. It'll also be on the end screen in just a moment, along with a playlist for all my Get Ready With Me videos. Thanks so much for watching and have a really great day.